Hello and warm welcome to our channel. If you are an experienced senior business analyst, we got some great content for you today. In this video, we will be sharing some real scenario-based interview questions for business analysts along with tips on how to approach and answer them with examples. These questions were shared by one of our WhatsApp group member who recently interviewed with TCS and has over 18 years of experience in the industry. We'll provide step-by-step answers with examples for each question so you can feel confident and prepare for your next interview. We hope you find this video helpful and informative, and if you do so, please leave a comment to let us know. And don't forget to hit the like button if you appreciate our efforts. And if you want to join our WhatsApp group, subscribe to our channel, share your LinkedIn and how you can help other group members, and we will add you. So let's get started. The very first scenario-based question is, the company you work for wants to develop a new mobile application, but they don't know what features to include and how would you approach to these situations. Now, this question tests the candidate ability to gather requirements and identify features for a product. So a good answer would involve interviewing stakeholders, conducting market research, and analyzing competitors to identify the most important and the feasible features for the application. So let me give you a simple answer. So as a business analyst, my approach to the scenario where the company wants to develop a new mobile application without a clear idea of what features to include would involve these many steps. The very first one, define the project objectives. So I would work with the stakeholders to define the project objectives and what they hope to achieve with the new mobile application. This would involve identify the target audience, business goals, and desired outcomes. The second step is conduct market research. So I would conduct market research to identify the needs and preferences of the target audience. This would involve analyzing the competition, understanding the trends in the industry, and identify any gaps in the market that the new application can fill. Third, I will develop a list of potential features. So based on the project objectives and the market research, I would develop a list of potential features that the new mobile application could include. Now, this would involve brainstorming with the stakeholders and considering their feedback. The next step, the fourth step should be prioritize the features. So once we have a list of potential features, we would prioritize them based on their importance to the project objective and their impact on the target audience. This would involve conducting user surveys, focus groups, and analyzing user data. The next step is develop a roadmap. So once we have a prioritized list of features, I would develop a roadmap for the development of the mobile application. Now, this would involve defining the scope, timeline, resources required, and potential risks that need to be mitigated. The next step is collaborate with the development team. So finally, I would collaborate with the development team to ensure that the features are being implemented as per the project objectives and within the defined timeline and budget. Now, this would involve conducting regular reviews, testing, and refining the features as necessary. So for example, let's say the company is a retail chain that wants to develop a new mobile application to increase the customer engagement and sale. So based on the project objective and market research, we identify potential features such as a loyalty program that reward customers for making a purchase, personalized recommendations based on the customer purchase history, in-store inventory availability checker, integration with social media platforms to share products and promotions, an easy checkout process with multiple payment options. So we prioritize these features based on their importance to the project objective and their impact on the target audience. We find that the loyalty program and the personalized recommendations are the most important, followed by the inventory, availability checker, and social media integration. Now, the checkout process is identified as important but not critical at the moment. So based on this prioritization, we develop a roadmap that focus on developing the loyalty program and personalized recommendation first, followed by the inventory availability checker and social media integration. And then we work closely with the development team to ensure that the features are implemented as per the project objectives and within the defined timeline and budget. So this will be my answer with respect to this particular question. Let me go and check out the next question. Yes, this is very specific question scenario. So let's say your company is considering implementing a new customer relationship management system. How would you evaluate potential vendors and select the best option? Now, what's the purpose of this question? This question tests the candidate knowledge of vendor evaluation and selection. So a good answer would involve creating a list of requirements, researching potential vendors, evaluating each vendor based on their ability to meet the company needs and their cost and their implementation process. So a sample answer could be, I would approach the evaluation and selection process of a new CRM system vendor by following these steps. The very first step, understand the business needs and requirement. So the first step would be to understand the specific needs and requirement of the organization that the new CRM system must meet. Now, this would involve consulting with the various stakeholders and users to determine the key features, functionalities, and capabilities that the system should possess. Second, identify potential vendors. So once the business requirements has been identified, the next step would be to identify the potential vendor who can provide CRM solutions that meet those needs. Now, this could involve conducting market research, reviewing industry reports, and consulting with industry experts to create a short list of vendors. Third, we evaluate vendor capabilities. Now, after identifying a potential vendor, the next step would be to evaluate their capabilities and suitability for the organization needs. Now, this could involve reviewing their product offering, features, functionality, and customer review. That's also very important, the customer review. Now, it is also important to assess the vendor ability to provide customization and support services tailored to the organization's specific need. The next step, the fourth step should be conduct vendor demonstrations. So once the list of potential vendors has been narrowed down, it is essential to conduct vendor demonstrations. This would involve inviting each vendor to showcase their CRM system and demonstrate how it can address the organization's specific needs. It is essential to involve key stakeholders and users in these demonstrations to ensure that the system meets their requirement. The next step should be evaluate cost and value. So the cost of the CRM system is crucial consideration. It is essential, very important to evaluate the total cost of ownership, including the initial purchase cost, ongoing maintenance cost, and the support cost. So it is also important to assess the value that the system can provide to the organization, such as increased productivity, improve customer satisfaction, and increase revenue. The next step is negotiate the contract. So once the preferred vendor has been identified, it is time to negotiate the contract. Now, this would involve finalizing the scope of the project, defining the deliverables, and agreeing on the cost and payment terms. So it is essential to ensure that the contract include provisions for ongoing support and maintenance to avoid unexpected costs down the road. Now, let me give you an example. Let's say that your organization needs a new CRM system to improve customer satisfaction and increase revenue. So after consulting with various stakeholders and users, you have identified the key features and capabilities that the new system must possess, including advanced analytics, automation, personalization. Now, you have also identified three potential vendors that can provide CRM solutions that meet those needs. So to evaluate these vendors, you first conduct market research and review industry reports to create a short list of vendors. Then you evaluate each vendor's capabilities and suitability for your organization needs by reviewing their product offerings, features, functionality, and customer reviews. After that, you invite each vendor to conduct a demo of their CRM system. And you should involve key stakeholders and users to ensure that the system meets their requirements. After evaluating the cost and the value of each vendor's offering, you have identified the perfect vendor and negotiate the contract, including the provisions for ongoing support and maintenance. Finally, you oversee the implementation of the new CRM system. You have to ensure that it meets the organization needs and delivers to the expected benefit, such as increased customer satisfactions and revenue. So this will be the ideal answer for this particular scenario. Let's move on to the next question. The next scenario is that your companies experience a high rate of customer complaints. Now, how would you approach this situation and identify the root cause of the issue? Now, friends, this question tests the candidate's problem solving and the root cause analysis skills. So a good answer would involve analyzing customer feedback, interviewing customers and employees, reviewing processes and procedures, and identify the underlying issues causing the complaints. So a sample answer could be that my approach, or I would approach this situation by following a structural problem-solving methodology to identify the root cause of the issue and develop a plan to address it. So the very first step should be define the problem. Yes, friends, first of all, define the problem. So I will start by defining the problem statement, which in this case is the company is experiencing a high rate of customer complaint. So this will be my problem statement. The company is experiencing a high rate of customer complaint. Now, this would involve gathering information on the nature and the scope of the complaints, such as the type of issue, customer experiences, the frequency of complaints, and the channel through which they are receiving these complaints. The next step should be gather the data. So once the problem is defined, I would gather data to identify the potential causes. This could involve analyzing customer feedback data, reviewing product or service documentation, conducting interviews with customer service representatives or relevant stakeholders, and analyzing customer behavior data. The third step is I would now analyze the data. So after gathering the data, I would use various analytical techniques to identify patterns and the trends that could help pinpoint the root cause of the problem. So for example, I might use data visualization tools to identify the common themes in customer complaints or conduct a Pareto analysis to identify the most frequent types of complaints. The next step would be identify the root cause. Now, based on the analysis, I would identify the root cause or the cause of the problems. Now, this could involve digging deeper into the data to understand the underlying factors that are driving customer complaints. So, for example, I might discover that a particular product or service features is causing issues, or that there are a communication breakdown between customer service representative and customers. Fifth step is develop a plan. Now, once the root cause has been identified, I would develop a plan to address this issue. So this could involve a range of actions, such as updating product or service documentation, providing additional trainings to customer service representative, improving communication channels between the department, or making changes to product or service features. So for example, let's say that after conducting the analysis, I discovered that a particular product feature is causing a high rate of customer complaint. In this case, I might suggest that the company conduct a survey of its customer to gather more detailed feedback on the issue and work with its product development team to make changes to the features to address the underlying problem. Now, I might also suggest that the company provide additional training to its customer service representatives to help them better handle customer complaints related to this specific feature. At the last, ultimately, the goal would be to address the root cause of the issues and improve the customer experience. So that will be the sample answer for this particular scenario. Let's move on to the next question. Okay. So your company wants to automate a manual process to increase efficiency. How would you go about identifying and implement the best solution? So this question tests the candidate's ability to identify opportunities for process improvement and technology solutions. So a good answer could involve analyzing the current process, identify areas for improvement, researching potential solutions, and then suggesting the best solution based on the cost, feasibility, and the impact on the organization. So I would approach this scenario by following again a systematic process of identifying and implementing the best solution. So there would be several stages. So for example, the very first is analyze the current process. So I would start by analyzing the current manual process to identify the pain points and the inefficiencies. Now this involves observing how the process works, talking to employees who are involved in the process, and reviewing any existing documentation related to the process. Now, this step helps to identify the areas that need improvement and the goals that we want to achieve through automation. The second step is identify the requirements. So based on the analysis of the current process, I would identify the requirements for the automated solution. Now, this includes understanding the inputs, outputs, and the tasks that the automated solution should perform. Additionally, I would consider any regulatory or the compliance requirements that the solution must adhere to. The third step is researching potential solutions. So after identifying the requirements, I would research potential solutions that meet those requirements. Now, this involves looking at off-the-shelf software solutions, customer software development, or combination of both. So I would compare the features, functionality, cost, scalability of each potential solutions and present the best option to the stakeholders. The next step is evaluating the options. So once the potential solutions has been identified, I would evaluate each options in terms of its sustainability for the company needs. So this involves comparing the pros and cons of each solution and identify the solution that best meets the company's requirement. So I would also consider the cost and timeline of implementing each solution. The next step is implementation. So after selecting the best solution, the next step would be to implement the solution. Now this involves designing the system architecture, building and testing the solution, training the employees, and deploy the solution. So the implementation phase also involves monitoring the solution's performance to ensure that it is meeting the company needs. Now let me give you an example. So let's say the manual process that need to be automated is the company's inventory management system. After analyzing the current process, we identify that the pain points are frequent stockouts, manual data entry errors, and high inventory carrying cost. So based on the requirements, we decide that we need a solution that can track inventory levels in real time, automate data entry, and generate reports on inventory levels and reorder points. So we research potential solutions and evaluate them based on their features, scalability, and the cost. So we decide that a customer built inventory management software system would be the best option. So we work with the software development company to design and build the system, train employees on how to use it, and deploy the system across the organization. Now, after implementation, we monitor the system performance and make any necessary adjustments to ensure that it is meeting the company's need. As a result of this new automated system, the company experienced fewer stockouts, lower inventory carrying cost, and fewer errors in the data entry, resulting in increased efficiency and profitability. Let's move on to the next question. The next scenario is, let's assume your company is considering migrating its data to the cloud. How would you evaluate the benefit and the risk of this decision? Now, this question want to test your knowledge of cloud computing and risk management. So a good answer would involve identifying the benefits and risk of cloud migration. You have to evaluate the company's readiness for the transition. You have to research the potential vendors and the solutions, and then recommendate a plan for the migration. Now, the answer could be that as a business analyst, evaluating the benefit and the risk of migration data to the cloud involves a comprehensive analysis of various factors that could impact the organization. So a good step-by-step approach that can taken to evaluate the benefit and risk of migration data to the cloud could be, the very first one is identify the key stakeholders. So the first step is to identify the key stakeholders involved in the decision-making process. It's very important. This may include executives, IT personnels, data analysts, and the end users. So it's important to understand their perspective and the priorities to ensure the analysis align with their goals. The second step is define the scope and objective. So the next step is to define the scope and objective of the cloud migration project. Now this includes identify what data will be migrated, the timeline, the budget, and any other specific requirements. The third step is evaluate the benefits. The next step is to evaluate the potential benefits of migrating data to the cloud. Now, this could involve cost saving, increased scalability and the flexibility, improve data security and the disaster recovery, and enhance the collaboration and accessibility. So, for example, migrating data to the cloud could enable the organization to reduce hardware and infrastructure cost, as well as eliminate the need for IT staff to maintain and upgrade on-premise system. So the organization could also benefit from the ability to scale up or down based on the demand, as well as access to the advanced data analytical tools and services. So this will be the benefit. Now we have to assess the risk. So it is also important to assess the risk associated with the migrating data to the cloud. Now, these could include data security concerns, potential data loss or corruption, downtime, and vendor lock-in. So, for example, there is always a risk of data breaches or cyber attacks when data is stored in the cloud. Additionally, if the cloud provide experience downtime, the organization could lose access to the critical data and applications. Also, the organization could become logged into a particular cloud provider, limiting their ability to switch providers in the future. The next step is we have to develop a risk mitigation plan. So after identify the potential risk, it is important to develop a risk mitigation plan. Yes, friends, people forget to create risk mitigation plan. Now, this could include implementing data encryption and access controls, regular backups, and redundancy measures. The next step is develop a cost-benefit analysis. It's very important, and most of your higher management will definitely going to look into this. So based on the evaluation of the benefit and risk, it is important to develop a cost-benefit analysis to determine if migrating data to the cloud is financially viable. Now, this analysis should include the cost associated with migration, ongoing maintenance, and any potential savings or revenue generated by the move. The next step is make a suggestion, a recommendation. So finally, based on the cost benefit analysis and the risk assessment, a recommendation can be made to either move forward with the cloud migration or consider alternative solutions. So overall, evaluating the benefit and risk of migrating data to the cloud involves a thorough analysis of various factors that could impact the organization. So by taking a structured and a methodical approach, organizations can make informed decisions that align with their business objective and mitigation potential risk. Now let's see the next question. The next question is, your company wants to improve its website's user experience. How would you approach this situation and identify areas for improvement? Now, what is the rationale behind this question? This question tests your knowledge of user experience design and website optimization. So, what should be the good answer? So, a good answer would involve analyzing website analytics, conducting user research, reviewing best practices, and suggest changes to improve the website usability and user experience. So, as a business analyst, there are certain steps I would take to approach this situation and identify areas for improvement in the company's website user experience. So again, the very first point is understand the business objective. First, I would meet with the stakeholders and understand the business objective behind improving the website's user experience. Now, this includes understanding the target audience, the desired user behavior, and the company's brand message. The second step is analyze the current user experience. Next, I will perform a comprehensive analysis of the current website user experience. This would involve evaluating the website design, functionality, content, and overall usability. I would also analyze the customer feedback, website analytics, and user behavior data to identify areas of friction, pain points, and bottlenecks. The third step is I will conduct a user research. So to gain a deeper understanding of user needs and preferences, I would conduct user research using various methods such as surveys, interviews, and usability testing. Now, this would help me to gather valuable insights into what user wants from the website, how they interact with it, what issues they face. The next step is identifying improvement opportunities. So based on the analysis and the user research, now I would identify opportunities for the improvement. Now, this could range from making changes to the website's navigation, content, or design to improve the site's loading speed, mobile responsiveness, or search functionality. The next step is develop a plan. So once I have identified the area for improvement, I would develop a plan to address them. Now, this plan would outline specific actions to be taken, timelines, and resources required to implement the changes. The next step is test and refine. So after implementing the changes, I would continuously test and refine the website's user experience. Now, this would involve ongoing user research, usability testing, and analysis of website analytics to ensure that the website is meeting their user needs and achieving the business objective. So for example, let's say that after conducting user research, I discovered that the website search functionality was causing frustration for users. In response, I would develop a plan to improve the search experience. This could include changing the search bar placement on the website, refine the search algorithm, and adding autocomplete functionality. After implementing these changes, I would conduct usability testing to confirm that the search experience has improved and track user behavior to ensure that the changes are leading to the desired business outcome. So that will be my approach with respect to this question. Okay, so now next question. Your company wants to implement a new project management tool. How would you evaluate this tool and select the best option? Again, this particular scenario wants to test the knowledge of project management and tool evaluation. So a good answer could involve identify the company's requirement for a project management tool, research potential tools, and evaluate each tool based on its features, cost, and ease of use, and suggest the best option to the company's need. Now, answer could be, as a business analyst, the process of evaluating potential project management tools and selecting the best option could involve these following steps. The very first is define the requirements. So the first step would be to define the requirements for the new project management tool. Now, this would involve identify the specific needs and objective of the project team, as well as any constraints or limitations that may exist. So, for example, team may require a tool that support agile methodology, has strong collaboration and communication features, and can integrate with the existing system. The second step is research and identify potential tool. So once the requirements has been defined, the next step would be to research and identify potential project management tool that meet those requirements. Now this would involve gathering information from a variety of sources such, uh, such as such as online reviews, industry reports, and suggestions from other organizations. So based on this research, a shortlist of potential tool could be created. Create a small pool, then evaluate the shortlisted tools. So the next step would be to evaluate each of the shortlisted tool in more detail. Now this would involve a comprehensive analysis of each tool's features and capabilities against the defined requirements. So it may also involve gathering feedback from the stakeholders such as the project team, IT department, and the management. Again, fourth important point, now let's conduct a cost benefit analysis. So once the evaluation of the shortlisted tool is complete, a cost benefit analysis should be conducted. Now this would involve analyzing the cost associated with each tools such as licensing fee, implementation cost, and the ongoing maintenance cost, and against the expected benefit of using the tool. So the analysis should also consider any potential risk and uncertainty associated with each tool. The next step is make a recommendation. So based on the results of the evaluation and the cost benefit analysis, a recommendation can be made regarding the best project management tool for the organization. Now, this suggestion should take into account the requirements of the project team, the cost and benefit of each tool, and any potential risk or uncertainties. Now, this suggestion should also include a detailed implementation plan outlining how the tool will be rolled out and integrated into the existing system. So, for example, let's say that the company wants to implement a new project management tool, and the defined requirements include support for agile methodology, strong collaboration and communication features, and integration with the existing system. After researching and identify potential tools, a shortlist is created and each tool is evaluated in detail. A cost benefit analysis is conducted, and based on the results, a recommendation is made to implement a specific tool. Now, the recommendation includes a detailed implementation plan outlining how the tool will be rolled out and integrated into our existing systems, as well as training and support for the project team. Friends, This is the last question for this particular session. So friends, a small request, spread the love and good vibes. Show some support by smashing that like button and leave a comment. And friends, don't forget to share your interview questions and let's help each other out. Who knows, the universe might just sending some good karma your way. So with this thought, all the best for your interviews and see you in the next session.